Daniel had walked down that street almost every day for 10 years. But that night, something was different. Between a pharmacy and a closed bookstore, there was a small wooden door. A door that had never been there before. Above it hung a simple sign. Regret Shop. Daniel stopped walking. He stared at the sign. It was old. Slightly crooked. Illuminated by a single warm light. He was certain of one thing. That shop had never been there before. But curiosity is a powerful thing. So Daniel opened the door. A small bell rang softly. Inside, the shop was quiet. Dimly lit. The air smelled like dust and old paper. Shelves covered every wall. And on those shelves, there were hundreds of small glass jars. Daniel walked closer. He picked one up. There was a small label on it. I should have called my father before he died. Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. He slowly placed the jar back on the shelf. Then he looked at another one. I shouldn't have said those words. Another jar. I never told her I loved her. Daniel suddenly understood what he was looking at. Regrets. Every jar contained a regret. Someone's mistake. Someone's lost moment. Someone's life. Interesting, isn't it? The voice came from behind him. Daniel turned quickly. An old man stood behind the counter. He hadn't heard him arrive. The man smiled gently. People leave them here. Daniel blinked. Leave? What? The old man walked slowly toward the shelves. Regrets. He picked up one of the jars. Life becomes very heavy when you carry too many of them. Daniel gave a nervous laugh. So what do you do with them? The old man looked at him calmly. We buy them. Daniel frowned. You're joking. The old man shook his head. Not at all. He held up the jar. When someone sells a regret, they forget it ever happened. Daniel's heart began to beat faster. You mean, they erase the memory? Yes. And the mistake? The old man smiled softly. No. You still made the mistake. But you no longer feel its weight. Daniel looked again at the endless shelves. Hundreds of regrets. Maybe thousands. And suddenly, a thought appeared in his mind. What's the price? The old man studied him carefully. That depends on the regret. Daniel hesitated. Then he spoke. There is one I would sell. The old man nodded. Most people have one. Daniel took a deep breath. 5 years ago, my brother called me. He wanted to meet. Just to talk. Daniel looked down at the floor. I told him I was busy. We argued. And we never spoke again. 3 months later, he died in a car accident. The shop fell silent. Daniel swallowed. I never had the chance to fix it. He looked up. I would give anything to forget that. The old man listened carefully. Then he walked behind the counter. He opened a small drawer and took out an empty glass jar. He placed it gently on the table. Place your hand on it. Daniel hesitated. Will it hurt? No. Daniel slowly placed his hand on the jar. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a faint warmth spread through his fingers. The jar slowly filled with a soft golden mist. The old man closed the lid. And suddenly, Daniel felt lighter. As if something heavy had disappeared from his chest. He tried to remember what he had just been talking about. But the memory was gone. Completely gone. Daniel blinked. That's strange. What is? I feel like I forgot something important. The old man carefully placed the jar on a shelf. Yes. That happens. Daniel looked around the shop again. All those jars. All those forgotten mistakes. Then he asked, "Do people ever come back?" The old man nodded slowly. Sometimes. Why? The old man looked directly at him. Because they realize something. Daniel tilted his head. What regrets are painful. But they are also proof that you cared. Daniel stood there in silence. For a moment he felt a strange emptiness inside him. Like a story missing its final page. Then he turned and walked toward the door. Thank you. The old man smiled softly. Daniel stepped outside. The street was quiet. Cars passed. People walked. Life continued. Daniel looked back. The shop was gone. The pharmacy was there. The bookstore was there. But the wooden door had disappeared. Only an empty wall remained. Daniel stared for a moment. Confused. Then he shrugged and continued walking. Somewhere behind that wall, on a dusty shelf, a new jar rested quietly. The label read, "I wish I had spoken to my brother one last time." And now, the real question is, if you could erase the biggest regret of your life, would you really want to forget it?